Hello again and welcome to part 7 of David Walliams' Bad Dad. Chapter 18. De-trouser.
Ha, ha, ha,
came the voice from the top of the well. At the bottom stood Frank and his father, both knee-deep in well water. Dad knew who it was without looking up. He'd have recognised that snigger anywhere. It was the local policeman, Sergeant Scoff.
Well, who have we here?
The policeman knew exactly who he had here. He'd been making Dad's life a misery for years. Scoff had it in for the man and was always accusing him of petty crimes on the estate just because he was unemployed. "Ah, hello, Constable," called up Dad.
It's Sergeant,
bellowed the policeman. His rank was very important to him. Not being the smartest officer on the beat, he'd waited 10 long years to progress from constable to sergeant, and he wasn't going to let anyone take that away from him.
Sergeant Scoff, got it?
Yes, Sergeant.
That's better.
Gilbert Goody. I should have known it was you. The one-legged layabout, the uniped idler, the stumpy skiver. Stealing coins from a wishing well now, are we? You couldn't make it up. The policeman puffed out his chest and patted down his hair, which he wore in an outrageous comb-over. Scoff wanted to look his absolute best for the golden moments when he got to arrest someone. The man cleared his throat like an actor about to walk onto a stage. "I hereby arrest thee for a crime of coin theft from the aforementioned well of wishes." "No," said Dad, "you can't arrest me. That's not what I was doing at all."
Ha, ha, ha.
There was that irritating laugh again. "Well then, I would love to know what you are doing down there." Dad looked to his son. His mind was blank. "Dad's leg fell off," Frank called up, thinking fast.
"Did it?"
whispered Dad.
"Yeah, it fell off. We were jogging across the park and Dad's wooden leg just fell off."
The policeman was far from convinced.
Ha, 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 ha. So, the leg just fell off and then, as if by magic, flew through the air and happened to plunge down a well, did it? A likely story.
The way Sergeant Scoff put it, the story did seem highly unlikely.
No, of course not," agreed the boy.
Where are you going with this, mate?" whispered Dad.
"A dog ran off with the leg,"
continued Frank. "It must have thought it was a stick. They're both made of wood.
"And then the dog dropped it down here."
"Did it really?" called the policeman.
Yes," agreed Dad.
"And I hope you can find the owner and give them that pesky dog a stern ticking off. Now, for goodness sake, Sergeant Scoff, please can you help us out of here?" The policeman sighed wearily and reached his arm down the well. Frank climbed onto his father's shoulders and Sergeant Scoff pulled the boy up. Getting Dad and his leg out was going to be a great deal harder, but the boy had a smart idea.
Sergeant Scoff, sir?"
"Yes, child." "We could use your trousers as a rope."
"My trousers?"
thundered the policeman.
"Yes, sir, if you would be kind enough to whip them off, I can lower them down."
"Ha! But then everyone in the park would see me in my pants," the policeman shouted. This was madness.
"If they did, they'd see you as a hero, sir, who rescued a one-legged man from drowning in a well.
You might even get a promotion," shouted up Dad, filling his pockets with coins. The policeman pondered for a moment. He gazed into the distance with a look of pride on his face. "Will you make me a promise?" asked Sergeant Scoff.
"Yeah,"
replied the boy. "Will you promise to tell absolutely everyone about this? Get a petition going around the town to award me a Medal of Bravery and give it to the Chief Superintendent?"
"You might get a whole chest full," said the boy.
Without hesitation, the man began unbuttoning his trousers and slipped them off. "Don't worry, sir," shouted the policeman, in the hope that people in the park would hear him. "I, Sergeant Scoff, will save thy life with the help of mine own trousers." Together he and Frank lowered the trousers down the well to pull the man out. "There, I, a humble police sergeant, have saved a uniped from certain death," announced the policeman. "Thank you," said Dad. smiling sideways at his son for persuading this man who's made his life a misery to help them. Sitting in their wet clothes on the side of the well, Dad began reattaching his wooden leg. Sergeant Scoff studied the false limb closely, like a master detective. I can't see any bite marks. No, replied Frank, thinking fast. The dog didn't have any teeth. A dog with no teeth? Asked the man, incredulous. It should make it easier for you to track the animal down, added Dad. You don't want any more incidents in this town of a dog making off with people's false legs. Could become a crime wave. No, replied the policeman. We certainly don't want any more incidents of a canine-based prosthetic limb theft, he added, a note of sarcasm in his voice. If you don't mind, we have a very important date with a sweet shop, said Dad. Come along, mate. The man put his arm round his son's shoulders and led him off. After a few steps, the policeman called after them, I'll be watching you, Gilbert Goody. Without breaking his stride, Dad threw a reply over his shoulder. That's nice to know, Constable. Sergeant, bellowed the policeman, standing in the middle of the park in his underpants. Father and son shared a secret smile as they headed out of the gate. Frank noticed that apart from jingling pockets, Dad also had something stuffed up his jumper. What's that? Asked the boy. The man lifted his jumper to show the boy. Sergeant Scoff's trousers. Dad, said Frank, bursting into laughter. I know. Naughty, very naughty. Now, let's make that call to Auntie Flip and get some sweets. Chapter 19. A Warning. What did Flip say? Asked Dad. He'd been waiting outside the telephone box in the centre of town as his son made the call. What do you think? Replied Frank, rolling his eyes. Yes? Yes, write a poem for church. It was a dream come true. And look, said the boy, unfolding his hand, we've still got some money left over for sweets. You go on ahead. I'll meet you in there, said the man. The sweet shop was just a few steps up the high street. Dad seemed restless, as if he needed to be somewhere else. Is everything all right, Dad? Yeah, mate, I'm fine. Fine. I'll see you at the sweet shop. With that, the man turned on his heel and limped off down the road. Where are you going, Dad? The boy called after him. Nowhere. You can't be going nowhere. You must be going somewhere. Before Frank could finish what he was going to say, his father had disappeared round the corner. The boy shook his head. This was very odd. Even so, he traipsed over to the shop, still dripping with water from the well. Ding! The bell on the door dinged as Frank entered Raj's shop, the town's favourite newsagent's. Raj himself was a huge jolly jelly of a man who probably ate more of his sweets than he ever sold. Ah, my favourite but slightly soggy customer, welcome, said Raj. To Frank's surprise, the man was down on his knees picking up sweets from the floor and placing them back on the shelves. Frank looked around the shop. It was often messy, but it was much messier than normal. In fact, it looked as if a bomb had hit it. Magazines were scattered across the floor, pens and pencils had been snapped in half, and the freezer had been upturned. Melted ice cream had swirled out of it, forming a multicoloured, milky puddle. What on earth has happened to your shop, Raj? Asked the boy. Oh, nothing, replied the man quickly. Nothing at all. Don't you worry your little head about it, young sir. Raj frantically continued trying to put everything back in more or less its rightful place. In the hustle and bustle, a large jar of bonbons was knocked off a shelf and fell onto his head. Bonk! The plastic jar broke, showering him in a sugary white dust. Poor Raj slumped down onto the floor in despair. Frank sat down next to him. He put his arm round the newsagent. Please tell me, Raj, what's happened here? Oh, it's these two men. One is big and fat. The other is tall and thin. They come into all the local shops and businesses demanding money. If you don't give it to them, they smash the place up. I gave them £100, but they said they wanted more next time, much more. They said they did this as a warning. Next time it would be me they smash up. I think I know who they are. Fingers and thumbs? Yes, that is them. Well, why don't you call the police about it? Raj shook his head sorrowfully. The men said they will hurt my family if I rat on them. I just don't know what to do. Let me help you tidy up first. Together the pair did their best to restore some order to the man's shop. Frank glanced at the front pages of the newspapers that had been swept onto the floor. The headlines read, Rolls Royce in high-speed chase. Stop that, Rolls. Mystery of demon driver. Late-night road race drama. Cop cars in pile-up. Oh, I wonder if they're involved in this, said Raj. The boy shrugged. Who knows? There must be some way to stop them. It's a brave person who does. They are bad through and through. They have been terrorizing poor shopkeepers like me all over town for years. I shudder to think what evil they are capable of. Finally, the pair managed to right the freezer. Frank looked on as Raj scooped up the melted ice cream with a rolled-up newspaper. Milkshake, young sir? 5p. There we go. That's the end of part 7. I hope you enjoyed Bad Dad. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps to support the channel. Thanks for listening and see you for part 8 next time.